Hello, students. I am Dr. Narendra Bhatkare. I welcome you to my YouTube channel named Experimental Physics. Today I want to explain how to use Fabry-Perot interferometer for measuring the wavelength of a given source of light. Now, what is Fabry-Perot interferometer? It is basically an interferometer which is based on two parallel reflecting plates. So, consider two parallel reflecting plates. Suppose the distance between them is d, and then this is a normal to the plate. If you allow a beam of light to fall on these plates at angle theta, then it will undergo multiple internal reflections, and you will have a set of reflected rays and transmitted rays. Please note that this glass plate and this glass plate, they are semi-reflecting and semi-transparent. That means there is a reflection also and there is transmission also. Now, if d is the distance between plates, the reflecting plates, and if theta is the angle of incidence, then it can be shown that this angle will also be theta, and then the path difference between the consecutive rays will be 2d sin theta by using the theory of multiple reflections. And by using thin film interference concept, it can be shown that path difference between consecutive rays is 2d cos theta is the path difference. Now, if this path difference is n lambda, then there will be, if there is a lens in front of these rays, then these rays will interfere constructively and they will produce a bright spot. And if this path difference is 2d cos theta is equal to 2n plus or minus 1 lambda by 2, then there will be a destructive interference and you will get a dark image. Now, this theta follows circular symmetry. That means the locus of points having same theta will form a circle, and therefore locus of points having same path difference will form a circle, and therefore you will get circular images. In another language, Fabry-Perot interferometer produces circular fringes. So the fringes are of this kind. You get alternate dark and bright circular fringes. Now, this instrument has many applications. One application of this instrument is that you can measure the wavelength of monochromatic source of light. Now, let us see how it can be done. If you are looking at the center, or if your sight is close to the center, then theta is almost 0 or theta is very, very small. When theta is very, very small, cos theta will tend to 1, and then this will become 2d is equal to n lambda, or if you change the notation, it will be 2d is equal to m lambda. D is the distance between the plates. Now, suppose you are focusing your attention on mth fringe, and at that time the distance between the plates is d. So we can say that it is 2d1 is equal to m1 lambda. That means you are focusing your crossfire on m1th fringe. Now, this distance out of these two reflecting plates, one plate is fixed, another plate is movable. So if you move this plate and if you take it away, then you can move the plate from distance d1 to distance d2. Now, if this happens because of change in path difference, when you increase the distance, path difference will increase and therefore fringes will get shifted. So, new condition when the reflecting plate is moved from d1 to d2, the new condition will be 2d2 is equal to m2 lambda. Lambda is the wavelength of monochromatic source of light. Suppose this is equation 1, this is equation 2. So we can have 2 minus 1 will give me 2d2 minus 2d1 is equal to m2 lambda minus m1 lambda. So this will be 2 in the bracket d2 minus d1 is equal to m2 minus m1 bracket lambda. So this means that you will have lambda is equal to 2 d2 minus d1 upon m2 minus m1. So when the mirror, the distance between the mirrors was d1, you are on m1 fringe, and when the distance became d2, you are on m2 fringe. In another language, d2 minus d1 gives the distance travelled by the movable mirror, and m2 minus m1 gives the shift in fringes which occur because of motion of the screw. That means if both these are measured, then wavelength of any monochromatic source of light can be calculated. So let me show you this instrument. This is Fabry-Perot interferometer. and you will see that there are two mirrors. Out of these two mirrors, one mirror is movable and another mirror is fixed. Similarly, these two mirrors can be made parallel to each other by adjusting these screws. It away, when you give clockwise rotation, the mirror will go away, and when you give anti-clockwise rotation, the movable mirror will go close to the fixed mirror. So let us see how fringes can be produced by using this instrument. For producing the fringes, these two mirrors must be exactly parallel to each other. If they are not parallel, then you will not get fringes. For making these two mirrors parallel, two screws have been given. So let us see how this experiment can be done. This experiment can be done with any monochromatic source of light, for example sodium. But instead of sodium, we are using a better coherent and monochromatic source, which is laser. So this is a green diode laser, and as you can read here, the wavelength of this laser is 532 nanometer. That means 5320 angstrom units. So let me explain how to make this source on. I have made it on from there, and now I will make this button on. You will see that there is a emission of green light. Now this is the stand for mounting the laser source. So I will mount it here, and then I will clamp it from here. Let us clamp it properly so that it will not move. Now the beam is entering through this path. Let us take care that this does not enter into the instrument. However, its position should be properly adjusted. So I am taking it bit up. So it is properly symmetrically adjusted with respect to the inlet, and then I am taking it out. Don't take this laser diode inside the system, let it be outside the system. Now you can see a spot on the screen, and it is because of these two mirrors. Two mirrors will be giving you two images. So now you will find that there is a spot. So if the mirrors are not parallel, then you will get multiple images. So how to make the mirrors parallel? These screws have been given. So adjust the screw, both the screws, so that you get a single image. When you get a single image, it means that the two mirrors have been made parallel, and you will see that both the images are overlapping, and therefore you are getting a flickering image. So when you get a single spot, it indicates that both the mirrors are parallel, and when you get multiple images, it means that the mirrors are not parallel. So this is how you can make the mirrors parallel. Now let me explain how to proceed ahead. What we will do, we will mount a beam expander on this laser diode. So I am mounting it on the laser diode. So beam will get expanded now. Then I am taking it close to the system, and now you will find that fringes are there. So some adjustments are necessary. You can see the fringe pattern now. You will see that there are alternate bright and dark fringes. Now, I have told you that this mirror is movable. One out of these two mirrors is movable. So mirrors have been made parallel with the help of this screw, and using this screw, the movable mirror can be moved towards the fixed mirror or away from the mirror. So you will find that when I give anti-clockwise rotation to this screw, the mirror goes away, and therefore the distance between two mirrors increases, and therefore you will see an outward shift in the fringes. In another language, you will see that the fringes are getting shifted outwards, and if you focus your attention at the center, then you will come to know that the fringes are appearing there. I am giving clockwise rotation to the screw. Now if I give anti-clockwise rotation to the screw, then the mirrors will come close to each other, and then you will see that the fringes will show inward shift, and in another language, when you focus your attention at the center, you will find that the fringes are getting disappeared. So now let us proceed. Let me explain how to take readings with the help of this micrometer screw gauge. Our formula is lambda is equal to 2d2 minus 2d1 upon m2 minus m1. So m2 minus m1 gives the shift in fringes and d2 minus d1 gives the change in distance between the mirrors. So at first we have to measure d1. Now how to measure this d1? There is this, here you will find that there is a scale. So this is main scale, this is circular scale, and then the total reading is D is equal to MSR plus VSR into least count. You will find that the smallest division on the main scale is 0.5 mm and number of divisions on the circular scale are 50. So the answer is the least count will be LC is equal to 0.01 mm. Now how do we take the readings? At first we see a reading matching the edge of the screw or coinciding with the edge of the screw, that is MSR. Suppose it is 7.5. I am taking an example, and then what is VSR and how do we take it? There is a vertical line here, a reading on the circular scale which coincides with that line is called as the circular scale reading. Suppose it is 15, so 7.5 plus 15 into least count, that is 0.01 mm. So this will be 7.5 plus 0.15, that means it will be 7.65. So how the experiment is to be done? Record D1 at first, the initial position of the screw, and then very slowly and carefully start moving the mirror. So you will find that when I give clockwise rotation to the screw, the fringes will show outward shift. So I will move the mirror, the fringes will get shifted, and I will count how many fringes are getting shifted. So you have to give a very slow and steady state motion to the screw. You will find that the fringes are appearing. Count the number of appearing fringes. Suppose it is 15. Then after counting 15 shift of 15 fringes, see, either you can see an outward shift in the fringes or you can see that the fringes are appearing at the center. So number of fringes appeared should be 15, or you can take any number, say 15 or 20, whatever, 15. Then when 15 fringes appear at the center, then stop the motion of the screw and then once again measure the position. That position will be D2. So the equation will be 2d2 minus d1 upon m2 minus m1 is what? 15 fringes have been shifted. So you can calculate the wavelength of light. This has to be done very accurately, and for that you have to give a very steady state motion to the screw. Note that if there is, you can move the mirror in any direction. You can move it anti-clockwise, the fringes will disappear at the center, and you can move it clockwise also, so that the fringes will appear at the center. So you have to count how many fringes are appearing when you are moving the mirror from a distance d1 to distance d2. So some sample observations have been taken. You can have a look here. The initial position of the mirror is 7.045 mm. Then I will move the mirror. So new position of the mirror is 7.03, and I have counted how many fringes are getting shifted. 15 fringes are shifted. So what is d2 minus d1 then? It will be 7.045 minus 7.03. The difference between d2 and d1 will be 0.015 millimeter. Then I will once again continue my experiment. I will continue to move the screw clockwise. Once again I will count 15 fringes appearing at the center. I will measure the new position of the screw. Suppose it is 7.01. And then I will continue to do the experiment. Every time I will move the mirror from one position to another position. I will count 15 fringes appearing at the center, and each time I will measure the new position of the screw. When you subtract the consecutive positions of the screw, then you get d2 minus d1. So I have measured d2 minus d1 7 times. Then I have taken the average of all these d2 minus d1, and that comes out to be 0.02214 millimeters. So now how to do the calculations? So lambda is equal to 2d2 minus d1 upon m2 minus m1 into 5. Why this 5 factor has to be kept? See, this is a very fine, the screw, micrometer screw gauge that we are using in the experiment is a very finely tuned screw. In fact, for it, when you rotate the screw, it will move on the main scale, and when you go 5 rotations to the screw, it will move through 1 millimeter on the main scale. Generally, for ordinary screws, when you give 1 rotation, it moves through 1 millimeter, but this is a fine screw, and therefore for moving it through 1 millimeter, you have to give 5 rotations. That is why you have to divide 2d2 minus d1 by 5. So the calculations are, you already calculated d2 minus d1, it is 0.02214, then into 2 upon 5, this 5 factor has to be there, and m2 minus m1 is the number of fringes getting shifted, that is 15. When you do all this calculation, the answer comes out to be 0.0005905 millimeter. When you multiply 1 millimeter by 10 raised to 7, you convert that millimeter into angstrom minute. So this into 10 raised to 7 will give you wavelength in angstrom minute, 5905. We are using diode laser, which is green in color, and its standard wavelength is 5320 angstrom minutes. The measured wavelength by us is 5905. So you can calculate percentage error. So it will be lambda experimental minus lambda standard upon lambda standard modulus into 100. That means 5905 minus 5320 upon 5320 modulus into 100. The error comes out to be 11%. See, larger the number of readings that you take, more will be the accuracy. And secondly, the screw has to be moved steadily and very slowly, so that you can actually count how many fringes are either appearing at the center or disappearing at the center. So this is how Fabry-Perot interferometer can be used to measure the wavelength of light. Fabry-Perot interferometer has many applications. For example, you can also measure the distance between the plates. Then when the distance between the mirrors is fixed, it is called as etalon, and when the distance between the mirrors is variable, it is called as Fabry-Perot interferometer. You can use Fabry-Perot etalon or interferometer for telecommunications, that means multiplexing. Then Fabry-Perot etalons can also be used for optical filters for obtaining monochromatic source of light, and they are used in instruments such as light sources, cameras, astronomical equipment and laser systems. Then you can use this Fabry-Perot etalon as optical spectrum analyzer. You can determine the wavelength of light as we have done it today. You can resolve the closely spaced spectral lines by using this instrument. The resonant cavity in the laser used for lasing action is based on etalon concept. Then due to high resolution, this interferometer is also used to resolve the closely spaced spectral lines in Zeeman effect. Then for imaging in astronomy, then Fabry-Perot etalon was used in methane sensor in the Mangalyaan mission of India, and then it was also used in LIGO experiment. So this instrument has many applications. One such application is measurement of wavelength of light, and we have seen how it can be done today. Basically, these were the two people who designed these instruments at first in 1899, Charles Fabry and Alfred Perot. So thank you for watching my video. Please like it and subscribe. Thank you.